Ethan Cole leaned back against the cracked bar counter. Sweat mixed with blood on his forehead. The air smelled of smoke and spilled liquor. His squad laughed around him, voices rough and loud. They had survived the siege of Reynard Station. Most men would be celebrating, but the tension in the room was like static, waiting to spark. A group of Carth soldiers stepped inside. Their armor clanged and shone under the dim lights. They moved slowly, scanning the room. Their leader, taller than any human, sneered. "Humans fight like animals. You call that bravery?" His voice was cold, sharp, full of contempt. Ethan's hand moved to the sidearm at his hip, but he stayed seated. He studied the aliens. His jaw tightened. "You talk too much for men who just lost a war," he said calmly. His voice carried weight even through the chaos. One of the younger Marines, Jace, snorted. "They think we're crazy. Maybe they're right." Ethan shook his head. "They just don't know how humans fight." He stood. His presence alone drew the room's attention. The Carth laughed. The tallest one stepped closer, sneering. "Show us, then." Ethan's first punch connected with the alien's jaw. The sound cracked like metal breaking. The bar erupted. Glass flew. Tables tipped. Humans and aliens collided in a storm of fists, kicks, and shouts. Chairs smashed over heads. Blood mixed with beer on the floor. The aliens moved with strength, but humans had speed and recklessness. They fought with a strange precision that was hard to read. Ethan ducked a swing, grabbed a table leg, and swung it into the side of an alien's helmet. Sparks flew. Another Marine kicked a chair into the tallest alien, sending him crashing through a wall. Dust and debris filled the air. A young Carth soldier tried to retreat. Ethan's eyes locked on him. He ran through the smoke, grabbed the alien, and slammed him into the floor. The soldier groaned. Ethan's voice cut through the chaos, calm and deadly. "No one walks out without a fight." The bar's doors burst open. Military police rushed in, weapons raised. Their radios crackled with orders. "Cease fire! Stand down!" Humans froze for a second, adrenaline still burning, then stared at the newcomers. The aliens tried to regain balance, coughing through smoke. Then a cold voice sliced through the noise. "Enough of this farce." A Carth general entered. His armor was sleek, black, untouched by the fight. He looked down at the ruined bar, at the wounded, at the blood on the floor. "The Dominion sees this as an act of war." Ethan turned slowly, blood on his knuckles. He met the general's gaze and smiled. "Guess we're doing this again." The room fell silent. Humans and aliens alike stared. Outside, the sky was burning red from distant engines and smoke. The war was supposed to be over, but it had just reignited. Ethan led his squad through the wreckage outside the bar. Smoke rose from the ground. Fires burned in the distance. The Dominion ships hung in orbit, massive and quiet, like predators waiting. The human fleet was scattered, damaged from months of fighting. Orders came through the comms, hold Keon 7 at all costs. The moon was barren. Craters and jagged rocks scarred the surface. Ethan walked among his men, checking weapons, nodding at each one. "Stay sharp. They will come fast and hard," he said. Jace adjusted his rifle and looked around nervously. The first wave of Carth dropped in, their ships firing pulses that shook the ground. Humans dived into trenches, behind rocks, and ruined buildings. Ethan grabbed a detonator and threw it at a pile of wreckage, sending a plume of dust and metal into the air. The aliens faltered, giving humans a moment to strike. Explosions rocked the ground. Screams mixed with the hum of energy weapons. Humans fired from cover, moved in squads, and set traps everywhere. Ethan shouted orders. "Flank left! Push the ridge! Keep moving!" One Carth soldier tried to sneak past a human sniper. Ethan saw him, sprinted, and tackled him. The alien struggled, claws flashing, but Ethan pinned him down. "Not today," he growled. He knocked the alien out with a rifle butt. Behind him, the human line held. Every soldier, exhausted and bleeding, refused to retreat. a young recruit shouted, pointing at the horizon. More Karth dropships were coming. Ethan's jaw tightened. He pulled his squad into a ruined hangar. Inside, the walls were scorched, ceilings cracked. Humans rigged the hangar with explosives, wiring traps to every entry. They moved like shadows, fast and deadly. The first alien patrol entered. They triggered a tripwire. A deafening blast shook the hangar. The patrol was gone, leaving twisted metal behind. Ethan looked at the smoke and grit in the air. "They think we're insane. They are learning the hard way," he said. Hours passed. The humans wore down the aliens with constant, unpredictable attacks. They struck and vanished, leaving confusion in their wake. Ethan's comm beeped. A captured alien soldier's voice came through. "They fight like they want to die." Ethan smiled. "Exactly." He turned to his men. "We're alive because we never stop." Night fell. Fires from the battlefield lit the sky red. Ethan climbed a ridge and looked down at the valley below. Alien forces were regrouping, sending reinforcements. His men were exhausted. They had no backup. He pulled his comm close. "This is it. Hold as long as you can. We make every second count." Suddenly, a massive explosion erupted in the distance. The ground shook. Alien war machines fell into craters they dug themselves. Ethan's squad cheered, but the moment was short-lived. Another wave of Karth troops advanced, faster and stronger than before. Ethan gritted his teeth, wiping blood from his face. "They will learn something about humans tonight," he said. He grabbed a pulse rifle and ran toward the front lines, leading the charge with a scream that echoed across the battlefield. Behind him, the hangar walls trembled. An alien warship hovered above, scanning for survivors. Ethan's heart pounded. "We are not done. Not yet." The ground beneath the approaching warship erupted as another explosive went off. The soldiers froze. For a moment, silence fell. Then, distant comms buzzed. Terran Command sent a single message: "Hold your ground. Help is coming." Ethan looked up at the dark sky filled with enemy ships. A small, dangerous smile appeared on his face. "I wasn't planning on leaving," he muttered. The sound of boots, blaster fire, and screaming filled the night. The battle for Keon 7 had only just begun. Ethan moved through the smoke-filled tunnels under Keon 7. The surface was wrecked, blasted into craters. The alien forces controlled the open ground, but underground, humans had built traps and hidden passages. He led a small squad, faces grim, hands gripping weapons tight. The first patrol rounded a corner. Ethan fired a pulse shot, hitting the lead alien in the chest. Sparks and blood sprayed. The others panicked, stumbling into traps. Walls shifted, floors gave way, and explosives detonated. Chaos ruled, but humans controlled it. Each step they took was calculated, fast, and lethal. They moved like shadows, cutting through patrols, striking from above, below, and behind. Ethan checked each man. Jace's face was dirty and bruised. "Keep moving. Don't stop. They expect fear," Ethan said. His voice was calm but carried fire. The aliens started calling him the Ghost. Patrols hesitated where humans had vanished only moments before. Ethan set timed charges on supply depots. When they detonated, the explosions tore through armored units. Smoke and fire mixed with the metallic smell of broken machines. The enemy commander cursed over comms. "Where are they? They disappear like wind." Hours passed. Ethan and his squad ambushed one Karth division after another. They moved silently between craters and tunnels. Every fight left scars. Every victory was paid for in blood. Ethan's heart pounded, not with fear, but adrenaline. Every step forward was another lesson in survival. A captured alien whispered in terror, "They never stop. They are everywhere. They are ghosts." Ethan listened to the words, nodding slowly. "Exactly. They call it madness. I call it survival." His men prepared the next trap, rigging an old supply crate with explosives. Night came. The tunnels were dark. lit only by fires and sparks from damaged walls. Ethan crouched, listening. Footsteps approached. He signaled and his squad spread out. The aliens entered, weapons ready. The humans struck from multiple directions. Explosions shook the ground. Screams mixed with the sound of energy weapons and falling debris. The battle was violent and fast. Each alien that fell sent another into panic. Ethan ran through the fray, tossing grenades, firing from cover, yelling orders. He felt every fear, every loss, every rage from months of war. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the tunnels. The ceiling cracked. Dust rained down. Ethan stumbled, coughing, but kept moving. "Hold the line!" he shouted. The squad regrouped, pushing forward through the debris, dragging wounded soldiers behind them. From a distance, a Karth warship hovered, scanning the surface. Ethan ignored it, focusing on the fight underground. He moved toward the next choke point. There, he set a final explosive, aimed at a bridge the aliens would use. Every second counted. One wrong move, and it could kill his men. The timer ticked down. Ethan looked at his squad. Faces tired, bloody, determined. He nodded. The explosion rocked the tunnels. The bridge collapsed, sending aliens tumbling into the crater. Dust and fire filled the air. Silence fell for a moment, broken by distant alarms. Ethan pulled his comm. Terran Command responded with one short message. "Reinforcements are coming." He smiled slightly, wiping sweat from his face. "We survive. We fight. They will learn," he said. He paused at the tunnel entrance, looking out at the scorched surface. The aliens were regrouping faster than expected. Ethan's jaw tightened. He gripped his rifle. "We are not done. Not yet." A distant shadow moved over the moon's horizon. Something big was coming. Ethan's eyes narrowed. He whispered to himself, "This fight is far from over." Ethan stood on the ridge overlooking the Karth base. Fires burned across the surface. Smoke twisted into the sky. The humans had held the moon long enough. Reinforcements from the Terran fleet arrived, massive warships dropping out of orbit, their engines shaking the ground. Ethan felt a surge of hope. Finally, the balance could change. He climbed into a transport shuttle with his squad. The engines roared. Outside, alien patrols were moving in, unaware of the fleet above. Ethan looked at his men. Faces grim, bodies bruised, eyes sharp. "Stay close. We move fast. We hit hard. They won't see us coming," he said. The shuttle landed near the Karth command center. Humans disembarked, weapons ready. The first wave of alien soldiers fired, but the humans were already moving, flanking, pushing through destroyed walls and corridors. Ethan led from the front, shouting orders, dodging blaster fire, taking down soldiers with precise shots. Explosions ripped through the base. Smoke, sparks, and fire filled every corridor. Humans tore apart defense lines. Aliens tried to regroup, but every route was covered. Ethan ducked under a falling beam, fired at a Karth officer giving commands, and watched him fall. "Keep pushing," he yelled. A massive alien war machine appeared, firing pulses that sent shockwaves through the base. Ethan signaled his squad. They split, using the ruined walls for cover, moving closer to weak points in the machine's armor. Explosives were set, timed to perfection. Ethan counted down, then pressed the detonator. The machine erupted in fire. Metal tore and sparks rained down. Alien soldiers scattered. Through the chaos, a comm opened. An alien admiral's voice demanded to know why the humans fought so recklessly. Ethan's eyes glinted. "Because every inch matters," he said, and moved forward. His squad followed, relentless and unyielding. They reached the command chamber. Ethan kicked open the door, blaster raised. Alien officers tried to resist, but humans swarmed in. Explosions shook the base again as ships in orbit fired at remaining defense points. Ethan's heart raced. He felt exhaustion, fear, and anger all at once. Every step forward was another fight, another risk. The battle raged around them. Smoke choked the corridors. Fires burned through the ceiling. Ethan spotted a damaged energy core about to explode. He yelled for his squad to fall back, but the core was too close to trapped civilians. Without thinking, he ran forward, lifted a heavy barrier, and pushed civilians to safety just as the core detonated. Heat and shock waves hit him, throwing him to the floor. Pain screamed through his body. He struggled to his feet, breathing hard. Around him, the squad secured the command center. Aliens were retreating or surrendering. The humans had taken control. Ethan's bloodied face was a mask of grit and determination. He moved to a comm, sending a message to Terran Command. The reply came quick. "Excellent work. Prepare for extraction." Ethan's lips curved slightly in a tired smile. They had won the battle, but the war was not over. Then sensors beeped. Ethan froze. Outside the shattered windows, a massive alien fleet approached faster than expected. They were not done. Not even close. Ethan's chest tightened. He looked at his squad, faces worn and tired, and said quietly, "This fight is far from over." The sky darkened as the new threat loomed over them. The humans had won the base, but the true test was coming. Ethan stood on the bridge of the damaged human ship, looking out at the alien fleet closing in. Ships black as night moved like a storm across the stars. Explosions from earlier battles still glowed across Keon 7. His squad worked around him, loading weapons, checking systems, preparing for the final fight. The alien admiral sent a message: "Surrender or be destroyed." Ethan's lips curved into a grim smile. "We do not surrender," he said, his voice carrying over the bridge. The crew responded with shouts, slamming weapons and fists into consoles ready to fight. The first wave of alien fighters entered range. Humans fired pulse cannons, missiles streaking across space. Ships shook, alarms blaring. Ethan's hands were steady on the controls. He knew every risk, every move had to be precise. One mistake could kill them all. Explosions rocked the ship. Smoke filled corridors. Ethan ran from console to console shouting orders. "Divert shields! Fire at the left wing! Focus on the flagship!" Crew members obeyed, moving fast and exact. Humans had learned to fight together. Every action counted. Ethan spotted the alien flagship in the distance. It was massive, bristling with weapons. He made a decision. "Prepare for ramming speed!" The crew froze, then moved with deadly speed to carry out the plan. Ethan's jaw tightened. They would not go quietly. Not after everything they had endured. Engines flared. The ship surged forward. Aliens fired, tearing through the hull, sending sparks and fire across the bridge. Ethan gritted his teeth, ignoring pain from falling debris. He kept moving, eyes locked on the target. The ship collided with the flagship. Metal screamed. Fire burst across the hull. Alarms screamed louder than ever. Ethan held on as the ship shook violently. Crew members fell, wounded or unconscious, but no one panicked. Humans were trained for moments like this. Explosions ripped through the alien flagship. Systems failed. Ships around it veered, crashed or exploded. The alien fleet faltered, retreating. Humans had won the battle, but the cost was heavy. Ethan looked around. Faces bloodied, armor torn, but eyes burning with triumph. The crew had survived against impossible odds. Ethan sent a comm message to Terran Command. "Target destroyed. Fleet in retreat. Keon 7 secured." Silence followed for a moment. Then a voice crackled back. "Outstanding, Ethan. You and your squad have shown the galaxy what humans can do." He nodded quietly, pride and exhaustion mixing. Months later, peace talks began. Karth survivors stood before Terran officials. They were broken, humbled. The lead alien spoke slowly. "Humans do not fight for glory. They fight because they cannot be broken." Ethan listened silently, watching the faces of his men and the defeated aliens. The galaxy had learned the truth. Across the stars, humans became a name whispered with both fear and respect. Ethan returned to Keon 7. The moon was scarred, but life returned. Fires were replaced with construction, soldiers rebuilt, children played under human watch. At a bar on the frontier, a Terran veteran cleaned glasses. Aliens sat nearby, cautious but quiet. Young recruits laughed, mocking humans playfully. The bartender looked at them, a knowing smile on his face. "Careful, boys. That is how it started last time," he said. Ethan walked past, armor battered but spirit unbroken. He paused, looking at the horizon where the stars burned bright. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Humans were unpredictable, relentless, and impossible to beat. Yet even with victory, he knew one thing clearly. The universe had more battles ahead, and humans would meet them head-on.